And welcome to Night Shift. I'm Nick Porcelli. I'm joined with my good friend Bryson Turner. We are here at Edition Financial Arena, where the UCF Knights just beat West Virginia 72 to 59. Had to check the score because, we're kind of used to, UCF always having to play from behind these Big 12 conference games. Not tonight. They led the entire game, and they came away with a big win, which they really needed after that Houston game. Bryson, what are your thoughts?
I think that this is now a must-win type of ball game. So you
100%.
you look at the rest of this schedule and this Big 12 conferences. This game, the game at Morgantown against West Virginia, and then their one game against Oklahoma State are now must-wins for UCF at this point, given where they are in the net rankings. And you winning those games will help you in the, I would argue now, the minimum objective for it to be a good season for this team is to not finish last in the Big 12. And this game, this win helps you do just that.
100%, I agree. Let's start off by talking about how the Knights did on the offense side of the ball. Not the best performance. Obviously, it's a huge step up from the Houston game. We're not going to talk about that, but huge step up. I got the stats here. Let's take a look.
I mean, West Virginia's head coach talked about, needing a short memory to really succeed in this Big 12 conference, and I think the Knights exhibited that tonight.
Yeah, they definitely needed that. They were 37.3% from field goal range, 7 for 22 from threes. Positive sign, I feel like we're always talking about free throws. They kind of started out pretty bad. I think at one point they were shooting 40%, but they really turned it on at the end of the first half, and then in the second half they shot
perfect 11 of 11.
Perfect 100%, and they ended it with a 84% shooting percentage, which I'm happy with that.
Oh yeah, Coach Dawkins has talked about how he wants to make more free throws than the other team attempted, and they certainly did that tonight, doubly so. They made 21 free throws to West Virginia's attempted 10 free throws, and they even missed 4 of them.
And another Knight who was leading the categories, Jalen Sellers. He led the game with 18 points. I'm going to be honest with you. I was telling some people that upstairs, I want to know how you feel about this. He had a good game, but it was kind of like, how every now and then you'll watch a game and you'll check the stat sheet and you'll be like, wait, he scored how many? That's kind of how I felt tonight. He was weirdly quiet. He didn't stand out. And now I would attribute that to the fact that I think tonight was kind of a really well-rounded attack. A few other players had some good games. We'll get into them in a second. But what did you think of Jalen tonight?
I think Jalen, the big thing with him is that all of his scoring, most of his scoring really came from the three-point line and from the free throw line. So you didn't really see him all around the court. He was either there or there. I'm trying to point at the different lines on the court. So I think it makes a lot of sense from that perspective, because usually we're used to seeing people kind of go scoring closer to the basket, and so when you look, and plus of course being the three-point artist that Jalen Sellers is, he ends up inflating his numbers a little bit because those extra points end up adding up at the end there. I mean, but I think Sellers, as what he's always done when UCF has a win like this, has done a very good job, and I think he's a very key instrument in the Knights' success. Going 5 of 11, led field goals tonight. I mean, he's just their primary shooting person, I think, when it comes to the back court. And whenever he's on, then it's usually good things to come.
100%. I'll be honest. I think what was their biggest asset on offense, and I know you have the official amount, so please tell me what that is, but it's their ability to score on the fast break. They had a lot of fast breaks off of turnovers tonight. I want to say, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I want to say it was 25?
24.
So
they won the fast break battle 24-6, the points off turnover battle 18-5. West Virginia's head coach mentioned about discipline, and I think that almost sort of fits into that, because they actually tied with 11 turnovers apiece. So when you look at the difference in this ball game with the points off turnovers being 18-5 and the turnovers being even, I mean, sure, you can look at the big difference in free throws and say that's the difference, but this was a really big difference as well with getting a points off turnovers and really taking advantage of those opportunities. And of course, that lets this crowd, the crowd that was here at Edition Financial Arena, which came out at 8,882, to really enter the game. Johnny Dawkins talked about how they're a sixth man for the Knights sometimes, and when you get those fast break points, you get those dunks. That's just another layer of kind of taking some of the wind out of West Virginia's sails.
Yeah, pretty close to another 9,000 night. I'm going to be real with you. I was really curious what the attendance was going to be because, our last 2 home games, it's Kansas, who needs no introduction, and a ranked team in BYU. West Virginia doesn't exactly have that, notoriety that those teams have. So the fact that they showed up, bravo to you, UCF fans. You're really making this a fun season. Now, I'm glad you were talking about turnovers because, let's be honest, like I said earlier, better offensive night, but not really what you wanted to see, okay? They went through a lot of, periods where they kind of, struggled to score, including at the end of the half. I want to say West Virginia went on, an 8-0 run. UCF didn't score a basket for, 3 minutes, 37 seconds, and there were a lot of, those kind of, lengthy periods. Weren't shooting the ball as well as you'd like to see, and I think that kept the game in there. So let's talk about the real reason that they won the game, the defensive performance. And if you want to talk about defense, you got to start with the big man, Ibrahima Diallo. Tell me about his performance tonight.
Ibrahima Diallo got himself a double-double, getting 12 rebounds, 14 points, three blocks, going 6 of 6. Perfect from the free throw line tonight. But overall, I think he is one of the best big men in the country at this point. It's really proven to make a difference, and it helps that he's paired with a guy like CJ Walker, who also had a fairly solid game tonight as well. But Ibrahima Diallo is just an absolute force for this team in the paint. UCF scored 26 of 16 in the paint against.
Yeah, 100%. You mentioned tonight he had 14 points, which was the second most on the team, only behind Jalen. So tonight he was really good on offense. But there's nights where he's not exactly the best scorer in the world. But even when that happens, he always makes up for it because, like you said, he's such a force in the paint. And tonight was one of his best examples. Now, we asked him in the press conference, which you can find on blackandgoldbanneret.com. Ding. That was this your best game? He was well-rounded. He says no. There's good to come. If that's true, I'm excited because, man, he is so dominant. Even West Virginia's coach had to admit, yeah, he made it really tough on us. Oh. And, I feel like that's how every team that they face has felt. If you're going to drive in, good luck, man. He's going to make it tough on you.
No, yeah. He reminds me of, he actually sort of, the way that he carries himself, he almost reminds me of, I believe it's Nikola Jokic in the NBA. In the NBA, he's very big on, on getting his job done. And very modest like that. His best basketball is not yet to come, even though, objectively, he's been, looking at the stat sheet, he's been playing some pretty good basketball. Mm-hmm. So he's definitely emerged, I think, as one of those, when Jalen Sellers is on, then the entire team is on, but Ibrahima Diallo is almost like that unsung hero in the sense that he makes just as big an impact as Jalen Sellers does, and I would argue that he could end up being, the biggest player on the team. It's between him and Jalen at this point, who's been kind of taking the spotlight, the face of this program, if you want to say.
Well, he's already the biggest person. How huge he is. Yeah.
I see.
I'm hanging out with Kyle too much. I'm making terrible puns. Point being, yeah, I would agree with you. Obviously, Jalen was the highest scorer tonight, but I'm going to go ahead and say that I think Ibrahim was the best player tonight regardless of team, because he was so well-rounded. Dominant on offense, dominant on defense. He was the key to their victory tonight.
Perfect on the free throw line.
Yeah, perfect on the free throw line. Hey, we're always like I was just saying, they're always talking about making free throws. So him hitting 6 for 6 when he's been one of the guys who's really struggled there. Seeing him hit those 6 shots, that was incredible.
Well, let's not to mention they also shut down Raekwon Battle, who, considering the amount of points he's averaged over the course of this season, he had a particularly off night and even got ejected with a double technical.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird game for him because, first of all, in the first half, they didn't play him as much as I thought they were going to, and then, like you said, he got the double tech, which, in my mind, I think that's really when you knew, okay, this game's over, because the double tech, Jalen Sellers hits those 4 free throws, and then they later, hit the jump shot, so they got 6 points on one possession. That was pretty much kind of when you're like, all right, that's it. But yeah, weird game from him. I really expected him to be the guy we'd have to look out for, and no, not like he was a liability to West Virginia or anything, but yeah, just kind of quiet. So.
Oh yeah, look, this is a game that you always appreciate when you get in the Big 12, because it's not a guarantee that it's gonna happen every so often. Double-digit wins is not something you should really expect when you're playing in conference play. So when you do get a win like this, you treasure it.
Yeah, I'm gonna treasure it. Can be a bit negative. I was like, they probably should be leading by more because of the shooting. But you know what? The defense did the job. They needed a win after Houston. I'm happy. We need to wrap up, but let's first, let's get a little serious.
Yeah.
We had an injury. What do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah. Shamari Allen went down. He appeared like visibly in pain.
He needed to be carried off by his teammates.
According to Coach Johnny Dawkins, he said it might have something to do with his ankle. He's going to get checked out by the doctor, so hopefully we'll be able to get more information on that as soon as possible. But if he has to miss time, then that is certainly a blow to a UCF backcourt, because you saw how big he was in, like, I believe it was the Texas game, and you saw how instrumental he was in that game. Now the good news is that there is a player that might be able to step up in Antoine Jones. We can talk about him in just a sec. But I think in terms of Shamari, I mean, it's certainly not something you want to see at all, and you just got to hope that the injury is not as bad as it looks.
Yes. Shamari, thoughts and prayers to you from all of Knight Nation. Get better soon, man. We hope to see you back out in the court real soon. But yeah, I can't believe I almost forgot about him. Let's talk about Antoine Jones.
Yeah. But we ended up. He also got double-digit points tonight, 13. That is his highest scoring game of the season. Great contribution from him. 5 of 7 from the floor. I mean, when you talk about a team that this UCF team in which they weaponize depth, this is the type of thing they're talking about, with Antoine Jones having the game that he did tonight. And I would argue that this was a very good audition for that third guard spot, that if Shamari were to miss time, then Jones could be a very ideal candidate for him to take over that fifth spot on the court with a performance like this.
Yeah, not much I can really add to that. That pretty much killed it. I mean, great game by him. I mean, what more can you say?
One of the better. I think he's, like, from a shooting perspective, from a pure shooting perspective, I think Antoine Jones actually had the best night tonight. I mean, Jalen Sellers did go 3 of 6.
He had the most points.
But
I
like
think Ibrahim was the best, well-rounded guy. But I think you're right. I think he had the best shooting.
Yeah, like pure shooting.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. All right.
They go on the road now. Now they have to go back on the road again. Defending the home court is definitely very important, but now they got to go back out on the road again to play Cincinnati.
A familiar face in Cincinnati.
Yes, and who are ranked number 38 in the net rankings. So that is certainly going to be it's not something you want to overlook. That's absolutely sure.
Coach Dawkins was asking in the press conference, now is it about starting to, like, put a little bit of a winning streak going, because we've seen it right now. This is their third conference win, but it's been loss win. If you're a UCF fan, you kind of want to see a bit of a win streak start to go, because I think no one wants to say it, but I think maybe thoughts of a postseason appearance is starting to crack in people's heads, and if you want to see that, you got to start winning. Cincinnati is a game I believe that they can take. It's going to be tough on the road. I will be interested to see what the crowd turnout for is. I know it's a weekend game, so that doesn't help them, but that is when they need to take this team, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. You know what they're always saying? They're a one-game-at-a-time team. They're looking forward to that. Hopefully they can take away tonight's performance and build off it and get the win there.
Well, let's not forget that the Knights, at least a couple of these guys, are going to be going up against a familiar face in Jameel Reynolds, who transferred over to Cincinnati. So that will certainly be an interesting little wrinkle and storyline going into that game up in Ohio.
We will probably talk more about that game on the KnightShift podcast, which we'll be recording a little bit today. Not much more you can say. Blowout win for the UCF Knights.
Blowout from a Big 12 perspective, let's say.
Yeah, blowout from Big 12 perspective. Thank you. Here at Edition Financial Arena. Bryson, where can they find you?
You can find me at It's Bryson Turner on Twitter.
You can find me at Nick Porcelli 2 on Twitter. You can find all of our guys on all of their social media platforms in the link in the description of this video. Be sure to check out blackandgoldbannerred.com, and be sure to check out all of our socials on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Threads. Maybe we have MySpace, I don't know. We seem to have every social media account, if that's still a thing. But everything will be linked in the description below. From Edition Financial Arena, I'm Nick Porcelli. This is Bryson Turner. Thank you for watching. Go Knights, charge on.